People are pissed that we don't have mic stands.
Oh yeah, if you're someone who's not a hater and you're mad that we don't have mic stands, please let us know. Because if you're a lover and a fan and you would like us to get mic stands, we would be more open to that, as opposed to if you're someone who came from a hater train that was
Upon us.
Yes, the hater train that was thrust upon us.
Also, us getting mic stands isn't gonna make them hate us less.
Yeah, but also I don't even think we need mic stands. I mean, like, you know,
Sorry, I
like,
have to go to my
can't
phone.
even. I literally can't even think of a single reason why a mic stand would come in handy.
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young old!
What's funny is I did that as a bit, and also
Yeah.
I'm sure we lost at least 50% of our viewers.
Please come back.
Please come back.
We need you.
By the way, another note, both Dana and Eve decided to wear a headband for this podcast, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
I would just like to say that these headbands are
Someone's
my
gonna have
thing.
to
I went out of this.
change.
I went out of my way to like try to bring back this specific
Well,
headband
also,
trend.
this headband is yours. All of the headbands that are like this in this house belong
Insult
to
to
you.
injury.
I actually wrote this in my notes app, but like there is a phenomenon that I've seen on TikTok of other people complaining about this, but little sisters accusing their older sisters of copying them, and it's like I invented you. Like you wouldn't even exist without me. Like Eva's always accusing me of copying her, and it's like I like invented being a woman with our shared DNA. Like I invented it.
I like how you're like, I saw this on TikTok. You clearly have like the most specifically tailored for you in the world. You're getting older sisters or victims content.
Well, it wasn't older sisters or victims. It was just there's this bikini entrepreneur I follow who I love.
Bikini entrepreneur.
And her little sisters all work for her, but one of her little sisters is always accusing her of copying her, and I'm like, she gave you a job, like, you know what I mean?
You're saying the
Like-
little sister should just shut the fuck up and
Yeah.
clock in at the factory.
Exactly, that is what I'm saying.
Go back to working your hands to the bone to
Go
make
back
your
to
older
making
sisters
bikinis.
And I would love if I could get Eve to work for me, but like we said, she's not working for anyone.
And you're also not working for anyone.
That's true. I'm my
You
own
don't
boss.
you have no way to employ Eve or yourself.
Let the record show you do be copying me. Period.
Let the record show you be copying me by existing.
Okay.
Also, in a lot of ways, it's possible I commissioned your existence. It's like, obviously, I would tell mom that I wanted a sister.
You would tell your mom, say, "Hey, when are you gonna fuck dad raw again?"
Actually,
Ew.
my
Sorry,
parents,
all right, sorry, I
my
didn't
parents,
know.
that was really.
cut the cameras.
disgusting.
Sorry, I thought that.
I had my 8th grade therapist tell my mom that she needed to fuck my dad quietly.
Okay, so apparently it wasn't disgusting. It was therapy
All right,
speak.
Why is everyone saying this?
Oh, so now you don't like therapy speak. Oh, the first Gen Z who doesn't like therapy speak just because the therapy speak is sexually explicit about their parents.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, also, someone asked me where I got my necklace on TikTok, and then I noticed that right after I tagged the girl, she went and liked a couple of my TikToks where I'm wearing her jewelry, and it made me feel really self-conscious because I always think because I'm an anti-influencer, like a designer's gonna see that I'm wearing their stuff and they're gonna like quit their job. like, you know what I mean?
They're gonna see get
Like,
your
they're
TikTok
gonna-
and they're gonna hurl themselves out their office
Yeah, they're gonna be
window.
like, oh, if this is who's wearing my jewelry, like I can't design jewelry anymore. I just genuinely worry that I'm gonna throw people off their path by enjoying their labors.
Because you're an anti-influencer.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, welcome back to Young
Old, the best podcast in the podcast marketplace.
Gotta get that in there, don't you?
Sorry. Who wants to start today?
We've been starting. We've already traveled so far. We've heard so much.
Did you guys hear that Hydro Flask is launching a mini hydro, which to me is the death knell of their entire brand.
A mini hydro, like a tiny water bottle.
Yeah, it's like literally like a 6-ounce Hydro Flask, and I'm like, I don't know who
They need to
it's
go the
for.
other way.
Exactly, but I'm like, you guys are not gonna win back the Stanley audience by making your water bottle.
They need to go. They need to
smaller.
invent a water bottle so big that it has wheels on the end, and you transport it like a rolly backpack.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how you
They
combat
have
Stanley.
like ones that are like massive, like drum.
Yeah.
do they have wheels on them?
No, that they should. They
That's the
should
next
have
step.
wheels.
The wheels on
That
the
would be
Hydro
cool.
Flask
Go round and round.
Because the girlies they want the bigger water bottle.
Yeah,
Bless you.
like you can't be.
Oh, sidebar, that reminds me, earlier today, I was sitting right next to Dana. I sneezed, and then I look over. Not
No.
a peep. Not a peep of a bless
and
you.
Robert is so
I'm on it.
always on it with his bless you.
No,
He is.
a
He's
percentage
stays
blessing
blessing.
us.
A
Yeah.
percentage
Stays
of that
blessing.
is like my OCD of it all, where I have to bless a sneeze. At the same time, though, it is just like I sneezed a foot away from Dana.
He stays
Nothing.
blessing. So
Radio
for you to
silence.
not return the energy is.
I think I was looking at a really interesting TikTok.
What
I
you
can't
said
remember
was
which one.
about a
I
bikini
didn't.
entrepreneur.
You said I didn't hear you sneeze, which is factually untrue. I was sitting as close to her as I am now.
I didn't.
So you were
tried chose not to.
No, I didn't choose not to. There was no impulse to react within me.
It's amazing how far people who are rude will bend over backwards to avoid just saying I'm rude. Instead, she's like, well, I believe I was looking at a particularly engaging TikTok and the impulse controlled and the synapses. It's like, no, you just...
I
you
think
didn't
it's
care if I was
related
blessed or
to
not.
my autism that you guys don't agree that I have.
Oh, God.
Bruh.
Wow. Autism diagnosed by The Mirror. Let's, yourself.
Actually, I saw a thing in the mail that said Austin Film Festival, and I misread it as Autism Festival, and I was like, oh, jeez, you're applying to go to autism festivals.
I'm not applying to go to any autism festivals.
I'm going to the Autism Festival for the networking. Probably a mistake.
Right.
Probably a mistake.
I think you do some really straightforward networking there, though.
You probably clean up. If you get one neurotypical in there,
Yeah.
you clean up.
Yeah, the neurotypical would have a real advantage over
Yeah.
all the neurodiverges.
Not if it's
Over
in
the vergies.
Over the verges.
Not if it's about their special interests, though.
That's true.
That's true.
If I'm going head to head with Robert on Heroes Trivia, guess who's coming out?
I'm
on top?
losing. I'm losing that ever. In fact, I've gone head to head with Eve on Heroes Trivia accidentally, and I
And
lost.
guess who came out on top?
And I've gone head to head with Eve on Supernatural Trivia accidentally, lost that one too.
Frozen.
Well, Frozen, but that wasn't really a special interest. That was just a debate.
I do love Frozen, though.
No, you don't have any interest in it.
Okay, whatever.
We can't do this again.
We can't do this.
We can't do this again.
You still haven't seen it, so.
You haven't
Seen
seen
the
the
movie.
movie. That was a reference to another
Ourselves.
episode of our podcast.
Reference to ourselves.
To ourselves.
Well, Eve, when she was getting ready for the podcast, just so you guys know, Robert and I have been set up, ready to do the podcast for like an hour now, basically. And Eve was getting ready to not look ugly and copying my
want me to be
headband
ugly or not?
while she was listening to Trisha Paytas'
Did you want me to be
podcast.
ugly?
No, I'm glad you're not ugly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But she was listening to Trisha Paytas' podcast while she was getting ready, and Robert said that it was like she was eating a meal when we were trying to cook a feast.
And
over
what of
here.
it?
And what of it?
But Trisha was saying that Trisha's algorithm only serves her Trisha content, and what an aspirational.
Well, you only
Anecdote.
get bikini entrepreneur, and older sister is
Yeah.
victim.
Do you guys remember when I was gonna be in the clothing space?
By clothing space, you bought a sewing machine and you were trying to make your mom sew all the clothes. You were like, I don't want to exploit a bunch of random child laborers.
But I
want
will
to exploit
my mother.
a mother laborer.
I do think it's really funny that my mom immigrated here from a third world country known for clothing manufacturing, only to have a daughter try to
Put her back to work.
clothing manufacturing.
And she did make so many costumes for us. So
Yeah.
She did.
We
She
succeeded.
slayed.
Your mom
She's like-
went into labor to give birth to you, and you're trying to make sure that she keeps staying in labor. Never gets to stop.
That's tea.
You're like, oh, I'll just have my mom sew all my clothes. Why don't people simply do that?
As I've said, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and part of having an entrepreneurial
Is
spirit,
breaking the law without realizing you're doing it.
yeah, it's unknowingly engaging in human trafficking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, we do need mic stands because I went to Pilates with my friend today, and my arms are like I'm dying holding this up.
Oh yeah, how was Pilates? Okay, also proof my
Are
phone
we
is
just gonna
listening
breeze
to me.
right past
What?
Eve not being able to hold her arms up?
can't. It's so heavy. Wait, okay, really quickly. Proof my phone is listening to me. I had never heard of Eve went to Solid Core today with her friend. And right after she told me she was going to Solid Core, I scroll on my TikTok and there's an ad for Solid Core.
Whoa.
Like literally in
Yeah.
that
I do be
moment.
listening.
And anyway, how was Solid Core?
Oh, it was good. It was hard. But it is obviously it's like I went as a guest with my friend, so I didn't have to pay anything. But if you're paying for the class, it's not like workout classes are somewhat expensive.
A pretty penny.
And I just thought it was funny that afterwards, because it's on like the reformer machines, right? And after the class is done, they like hand you little cleaning wipes and then they make you clean the reformer. And I just thought that was like, I'm like, wow, not them making you clean it.
I will say Hallie Kate from TikTok.
Is she the one that
she had a
complained
whole rant
about? Oh, because
about
my friend
cleaning
told
the
me,
machine.
she was
I
like,
think it was at Solid Core too.
yeah, she said, oh, there was an influencer. I didn't realize it was Hallie
Yeah.
Kate, but that makes sense. Who complained about having to clean the reformer afterwards. afterwards. And then apparently her next class, they like gave her a bunch of wipes
Hilarious.
as like
An
fuck
SDQ.
you.
Yeah.
which I'm like, that's so like.
I honestly, I respect her
it is-
complaining, but I also do really respect them passive aggressively giving her extra wipes.
I respect,
But it's stupid.
people fighting.
Agreed.
I think nowadays what I respect is mutual confrontations. I respect people calling other people out, and I respect the other person calling them out right back.
Like, I like Hallie Kate now more now, knowing that she ranted about that.
Well, she
'cause
spoke
it's-
truth to power.
It is weird.
Well, also that's their value add. It's like it's your machine. I'm paying you to be able to use your stuff. It's like you need to be the one to clean this up. Now I just work for
well,
you.
that was her argument. Also, again, the class isn't cheap, so the idea that I'm
Now have to clean
part
it.
of the
It's
cleaning
weird.
staff. Wait, oh yeah, it's like how we always talk about and how a lot of people talk about, but now with self-checkout, it's like, oh, I'm actually working at Target. I'm
Yeah.
working at CVS.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, you work for the
Like,
Pilates place that you just
yeah.
paid
Yeah.
a lot of money to.
Yeah, literally. And it's also like if you don't do it, then you're like being rude to the next person.
Yeah.
And again, I'm totally fine wiping down my like equipment at an LA Fitness or something where it's an affordable monthly membership.
Right, but
Yeah.
if you're paying a lot,
Yeah.
then
Also, isn't that the whole point of like the boutique workout classes? Like SoulCycle would never
Yeah,
expect you to
SoulCycle
wipe
would
down your
never
do
equipment.
that.
They would never ask you to
SoulCycle
do
would
that.
never make you clean it.
Okay, not to be like I'm so tiny, but I'm actually too short for reformer Pilates. Like I can't reach the things.
I mean, you're close on SoulCycle, low key.
What do you mean? What?
They have a height limit.
No, like the reformer machines, they're too big for my body.
I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
It's true.
I don't understand how that would be possible.
She's too small.
No, but
She
I
tried to
don't-
go, and they said,
tried
and they
many
threw her
times.
into a thimble, and then threw that thimble out into the street.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I was just in a thimble in the street.
They say,
Oh,
they-
yeah.
and that was really jarring for
And then-
me.
and then it started to rain, and then suddenly you were in a pool in your thimble, swimming around. And then the test of whether or not the machine fits you is they see if you can crawl through the head of a needle, and Dana, of course, could so easily because she is oh so small.
And they said, get in the thimble, bitch.
Yeah. Short girls are always saying stuff like, I'm actually too short to go shopping at Walmart. And you're like, what? They always pick an experience that there's no height limit. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's really hard for me to, it's really hard for me to go to the bagel place down the street because I'm just so short.
That's so real. She always be like that.
I can barely see over the counter at Sweet Green. That's why I can't eat salads. Is that true?
I can't see over the counter. It's Sweet Green.
Yeah.
She's just guessing every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know when you order at Sweet Green, you have to use like Batman's rail gun and you shoot it up and then you have to climb up to the counter and then lean over. One too many. How
No,
about that?
I like the image of
No,
that.
that was good. I just didn't have
like
anything
the image of
clever to
that.
say back.
See, sometimes you're too
Sometimes you're
big
too
brain
clever.
for
Yeah,
us.
exactly. You're
Too
too much of a
clever.
genius. You're
We
too much
can't
of a
beat
brilliant
that.
genius. That's
Short
what it
girls
is.
be like Batman at Sweet
Short
Green.
girls be like Batman at Sweet Green.
and
Amen.
you can't keep up when
Yeah,
I'm dropping
keep
stuff
up.
like that.
How am I supposed to top that?
That's freaking fire, bro.
Bro, that's fire.
Bro, that's fire.
Man, if I was on like a guys podcast where we're instead of with two women, it was two guys, we'd
Yeah.
be saying that all the time.
That's
bro,
fire,
That's
bro, that's
fire.
fire.
That's fire.
I
There was one podcast I saw. It was like it was a relatively small one, but it was just like a bunch of guys who were like high school age with the podcast. And the podcast literally is like one guy would be like, dude, I'm sorry, but like just playing Fortnite, like prime Fortnite, doesn't get better than that. And then the other guys went, bro, it truly didn't.
And that's,
that's
the
the
whole
whole
thing.
podcast.
does this podcast do numbers?
I mean, I saw it, but I got to be honest, I was part of a niche community who seemed to be watching it ironically. I didn't like, consume the whole podcast, but I watched multiple clips, and every clip is like, okay. All right. Fortnite, good or bad? And they'd go, bro, I think it's so good, bro. And they'd go, dude, that's fire.
Wow.
And that's the whole pod.
And I'm sure that that's great for some people.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what certain
Sure,
people
their
want to be
demo's
listening
really
to.
into that.
And then one
Yeah.
episode, they brought a girl on, and you could see it on her face. It's like she was in a hostage situation. She was like, get me out of here.
Well, that reminds me of today. I was outside of LA Fitness sitting on my sunny step. Can you describe my sunny step?
After you get done working out at LA Fitness, you go outside and you sit on the steps to wait for me to be done.
Yeah.
My sunny step.
We got to get
Stop
better.
romanticizing your life.
Why?
Because it pisses me off.
Dude, okay. Also, the other day, I was singing Jar of Hearts to myself in the bathroom.
As you do.
And
Woman on the
Eve-
brink.
And Eve
Dana
immediately-
was singing and she goes, you're gonna catch a cold from the eyes inside your soul. And I'm like, girl, it's ice. You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul. Why would you catch a cold
From the eyes
from
inside your
eyes
soul.
inside your soul?
Also, what does that mean, the eyes in your soul?
Anyways, and then Dana goes, why would I ever dare
ever experience joy around you? Eve hates my joy. It triggers her.
Why would I ever dare to allow myself to have a happy moment when you're around?
Well, because it's truly the way you experience joy is so like you'll be singing to yourself, it's going down. I'm yelling tiger.
No, that's so
and then you're
real.
like, Dana,
And
it's
like, how do
not
you expect
tiger.
me to not comment on that?
It's not tiger.
How do you expect me to not comment? And then she goes, "You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul." That does make more sense.
It does make
And
more
I'm
sense.
like, yeah, it does.
But the reason I was singing it is because I saw a TikTok that was like POV. Your parents just left you home alone for the first time when you're 12 years old, and it's her on her MacBook, and you hear the photo booth video sound, beep, 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 so she can like hear how she sounds singing to her hearts.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Never really experienced that.
Really?
and I'm sure she sang it as "Ice Inside Your Soul."
She probably sang it correctly. Yeah, I don't know.
Robert
though.
was too busy watching Friends on his TV.
But I
didn't
know
have-
that
on his
Robert was
handheld
recording himself
TV.
singing.
Huh?
You were definitely recording yourself singing at some point. Everyone did that.
Well, that was later on, though. I mean, that's later on. Then I just used voice memos that I deleted and prayed would never be deleted from the cloud.
When was the first time you think you recorded yourself singing to listen to it?
Well, here's what I will say. I do remember in middle school, as soon as I became aware that singing was possible for me, I thought I was a great singer. And it famously to the point where when I was in choir, because you were required to take choir, I would sing badly on purpose. Because I was like, man, if people
can't
find
let
out
them
I'm a
know.
great singer, it's going to be a High School Musical
Yeah.
situation. They're
Oh
going to
my
be like,
God.
oh my God, Robert's a great singer? Dude, you're supposed to be a cool guy. Come to find out, I'm actually not a great singer. So I was a bad singer who was making myself worse.
I think I honestly had a very similar experience. Like in my 6th grade choir class, I did think I was a great singer, and so I sandbagged myself.
Yeah, I
And I
sandbagged
never,
myself.
I never auditioned for solos, even though I was like, I would crush that solo, but I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have.
You probably wouldn't have. And I
probably
know I
wouldn't.
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I imagine like I was Troy Bolton, except for in reality, I couldn't sing and I was bad at sports. There was nothing for me. I'd be
You
like one of the
guys-
guys. I'd be like the guy playing the cello.
Okay.
Who played the cello?
Okay, no, we can't go
Okay,
down this
okay,
road.
okay.
You guys are like the CW character with magic powers trying to hide that they have magic powers, but you didn't have
I don't have magic powers.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, what if someone figures out that I'm really good at this thing that I'm actually really bad at?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard relate.
Yeah. It's like I showed up. What's the name of the place in Vampire Diaries?
The Grill?
No, what's the name of the
Mystic
town?
Falls.
Mystic Falls. I roll into Mystic Falls and I'm like being very secretive and cagey with everybody. And then everyone starts to assume that, oh, he must be a vampire. He must be a werewolf. And they finally confront me. They're like, what's your big secret? And I'm like, my big secret? I'm a medium singer. And they're like, oh shit, sorry. We thought we could have our own thing going on.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
thought.
Okay, but I briefly mentioned your friend's handheld TV. Do you want to talk about that?
I have talked
Oh, you
about that.
have?
Well, no, I talked about that on my own channel, but
Oh.
as I'm saying it, the video got literally 600 views. I don't know why I'm talking about it like I did it on the Tonight Show in the 80s.
We've heard about this.
Believe me,
Everyone's
the
heard about
people
this.
know.
man.
But also in real life and on the pod, we love going in circles about the same topics over and over.
Well, someone was in the comments last time and they were like, obviously I know about Biter's anal glands.
right.
And me being
you
a
were
dumbass, I'm like, we have to explain what that means. And the young old-nators are like, you idiot. We
You
know what
idiot.
it means. But this was, my parents wouldn't let me watch TV because as we often talk about, for some reason, our generation of parents were convinced that like whatever was
TV
going
was
on in their
evil.
lives, the real problem was their children were watching TV.
Well, Eve put it best.
Wait, what did I say?
You were like,
It's like our parents like, oh, their marriage is falling apart. And they're like,
Oh!
the problem is my toddler's watching cartoons. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Eve was basically just like
I
extreme
remember
marital
that.
conflict.
And they're like,
problem is
it's the TV. It's that damn TV.
My mom would get talked over in a meeting at work and storm home and just like grab like the TV from me. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's what I'm really mad about.
That's what I'm really
Well, I
mad
have this
about.
really visceral memory of, I think I was in 5th grade, and me and Connor were watching TV and we were having like a great time. And my mom marches in, unplugs the TV, and she's like tiny, and she's just walking out with this giant TV, and she's like, "We're done with this."
Yeah.
And she was like so mad. And it's
Mad
like,
in a way where like, this is probably not
Yeah.
about the TV
kind
consumption
of a
habits.
disproportionate reaction.
Yeah.
Wait, was this because I have a memory about her removing the TV as well? So did she remove the TV multiple times?
That would seem to be consistent. I could see that.
I think we got rid of our TVs multiple times, and then we'd get it back. Like we'd always like
Oh.
we'd buy a new one. It
Yeah.
would be like we'd she'd get rid of the TV, and then at some point we'd agree that we needed a TV again.
Well, my parents were big, like, we don't want the living room to be pointed at a TV because that would make us dumb. But then where the TV would be was just a chair. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel like the kid watching the TV is probably more normal than the kid just staring blankly at a chair all day.
I would also argue, and this is an unpopular take that Robert disagreed with me yesterday on, that TV has made me smarter because all the TV I watched was written by people who went to Harvard. So basically, vis-a-vis, I went to Harvard because the TV I was watching was written by people who went to Harvard.
My take is that Harvard's for idiots.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So what do you think
Two
about
perspectives.
that?
Well, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, famously written like all by Harvard people. And
Conan O'Brien went to Harvard. I mean, all the Office writers went to Harvard.
And I genuinely think that...
Well, I agree. Let's be clear. We've thrown out a lot of different takes here. So I actually agree with Eve's take that people who went to Harvard are idiots.
Thank
Most
you.
of them really, truly are dumb. I also agree with part of Dana's take, which is watching TV does make you smarter, generally speaking. It all depends on how you consume it, but that's true of everything. I just didn't agree with Dana's take where she was like, I essentially went to Harvard
By the
because
transitive
I
property.
watched TV that was made by people who went to Harvard. That's like saying, like, I essentially went to cooking school because I ate a meal cooked by someone who went to cooking school. Not really the same thing. Dude, I literally...
But you could
I
reverse
cooked with that
engineer
metaphor.
the meal maybe by eating it.
All right, I'm going to actually ask that you two prove that. Let's go to a restaurant of my choosing, and then I'm going to need you two to reverse engineer the
I would
meal.
have
could.
I would be way better at that. You don't even know how to turn on a stove.
Robert doesn't know how to use a toaster.
I literally know how to use a toaster. I
He
know how to turn
literally
on a stove.
doesn't. I will not let you lie to the young olden
when I
haters.
first, oh my God.
You run screaming from appliances.
I don't run screaming for appliances.
He literally-
I walk toward them with the confidence of someone who knows what I'm going to do and
No.
about to do.
That's true. But in
then you
reality,
stop.
you don't know it.
Yeah, you have no idea what
I
you're
literally
doing.
asked one clarifying question about their toaster because it was I didn't know if it was a special kind of toaster.
Question.
When
What's
I first
gonna clarify?
when I first saw their toaster, I was like,
It's
oh,
a
how does this one
toaster.
work? I was like, how does this one work? Because some of them are
How
toaster
does this
ovens.
one
Some of
work?
them have different
It's-
settings.
Do you know what a toaster oven looks like?
I
I'm
do
gonna give
know.
you a hint. It looks nothing like
a toaster.
I know, but first off, when I was growing up, I had a toaster oven, so that was what I was most used to. But I also knew, like, okay, maybe some appliances work differently.
But it's
you
like
press
if
a
you've
different
ever,
button.
dare I say, watched a TV
I'm
show,
gonna be honest,
you
you're
see
digging your
people
grave
press
right
the
now.
button down
I'm
on the
not
toaster
digging my
and then the
grave.
button pops up.
By even saying the words, I asked a clarifying question about the toaster. You sound like an idiot.
No, I asked one clarifying question. Also, by the way, I would if
There's
they weren't there, I would have used it
Anyone
correctly.
who knows how to use a toaster would never need to ask a clarifying
That's
question.
so true. Also, teachers always say there's no such thing as a stupid question, but that
That's
is
a
a
stupid ass
question.
question.
Yeah.
I found it. The stupid question.
The one?
Yeah.
That's the one. And the question was like, hey, how does this toaster work?
Yeah, no, because you shouldn't need to ask how
Because
toasters
all
toasters are the
framing
same.
it like I was like, how does this toaster work?
No, but it doesn't.
When in
But
fact,
the
I was
way-
like, okay,
no,
how
the
does
way-
this one
no,
work?
but the way that you said it so cavalierly is actually even worse.
Asking any questions about a toaster?
Weigh in, young oldenators. Would you ever ask a clarifying question about a toaster?
In
Do
this
you think
era
that
of, like,
toasters
smart
are?
this was
No
not a smart
toaster is
appliance.
built different.
Some
Like,
toasters literally now they
they're
have different
not,
settings. Some
honey.
of them you
No.
can adjust things. You can adjust the levels.
no,
I was
you
like,
didn't even know. You didn't know that you're just supposed to put the button down. Like he didn't even know you're supposed to. Like,
If you
just
guys
press.
weren't there, I would have just put the button down. But I was like, oh, now that they're here, I'll just ask a clarifying question.
we weren't here, you
What
wouldn't
could
have
go
used the
wrong?
toaster.
Surely they won't be rubbing into my face years later. This is years ago. Ancient history. Also, sometimes I swear to God, they also then will act like I'm doing something weird, even when I'm not doing something weird. So I don't know. There's different rules. For example, one time I pulled milk out of the fridge and it was like half gone. I was kind of looking at the expiration date. It was getting close. I'm like, okay, this doesn't really smell bad. But I was like, Eve, does this smell bad? And I asked that
I
to
think
Eve.
it's weird to ask somebody else to smell your milk.
But it's not my milk. It was the community
No,
milk.
it was your milk.
No, it was our
I
milk.
use oat milk. It's not my milk.
But
Ask your milk partner in crime to smell your
this
milk.
right here. You're
Ask
like
your milk collaborator.
Most-
I have nothing to do with
This
your
is
milk.
the only household I've heard of where there's milk
Also, if you think it
collaborators and
smells
everyone has their
bad-
own milk. So excuse me for
If
asking a
you think it
clarifying
smells
question about the
bad-
toaster.
If you think it smells bad, why would I want to
I
smell
wasn't
it?
sure. I wasn't sure. So I was
No,
like, hey,
but
can you
I
just
don't
smell
want.
this?
I don't want anything that there's even a chance of like. Also, well, if it's for you, like, why am I risking smelling
I get that in
bad
general.
milk for
risking
you?
something bad.
I am. I'm risking smelling bad
But
smelling
Dana,
milk
is it not
for your
normal
sake.
if there's household milk? You're like, hey, does this
Yeah.
smell bad? Just
It's
confirmation.
not household milk. I'm not your milk collaborator.
She's not your milk partner
I
in
drink
crime.
oat milk. I don't have regular
People
milk
who
at the
drink
house.
from the same gallon of milk
I
do not
I
become
don't
milk
drink from the gallon.
collaborators. But if you ask me, like, does my oat milk smell bad? I would
I
have
would
just been
never
like, oh,
ask
not
you
to
that
me.
because I'm not insane.
Okay, speaking of
'Cause I'm not
appliances, we got a new laundry
crazy.
machine. Are we still on milk? Can I talk about the laundry machine?
I just would like to say
you're
that.
really eager to jump.
No,
you're really
I'm not
jumping
I'm not
ship
trying to
this
jump.
whole
It's just
pod.
like it's like no, I'm not trying to jump ship. I
You're
just
jumping
sometimes
ship.
no, I'm not trying to. Sometimes I just don't have anything to contribute, and then I feel inadequate, and so my inadequacy causes me to want to topic
you-
Okay, so then chime in on Milkgate.
Yeah,
then.
so you were
Re-Milkgate.
Milkgate.
I think in general, Eve has touched on something that's very common, a very common opinion, which is that if you're like, ew, this smells bad, why would anyone else want to smell it?
Okay, can I just say something about the cameras rolling? The way Dana's had my back every time I brought this up until the cameras are rolling and the mics are recording.
Well, you think
What's
that I don't
going
have your
on?
back many times, which I would distree.
No,
I do
I
have
think
your back.
you're
Like
on
I
the
would
first
smell the
time-
milk.
But
if you ask me,
you-
but
Yeah,
I'm
because
your
you're a
milk
But we
collaborator.
even said Eve brought this to us because of course she's walking around talking about Milkgate.
No, he is right that the first time you brought it up, you did back robber,
You
and I was
did.
like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, I think it's normal to smell milk, but she's saying that she doesn't have anything to do with that milk, which I think is she's making a different case.
But
She's
I'm not saying
that
smell
milk has
this milk for you. I'm not saying, Eve, I believe it would be in your best interest to smell the milk. I'm saying, Eve, can you help me out? I can't really sense this
want
milk.
to help you.
But that's what you're saying. What you're really saying is I don't want to help you. It's not that it's weird for me to ask for this kind of
no,
help.
but it is weird.
No.
That's
Oh,
I don't
weird
think
to
it's that weird.
ask.
It's
Eve.
not
I don't
that
think
weird.
it's that weird. I understand the case
Okay,
you're
you
making,
know
which is
what?
that milk has nothing to do
Here's
with
the
me.
thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Next time around, well, this is never gonna happen because you will never ask me that again.
Obviously, I'll never ask this again.
But that being said, if I smell it and it smells really bad, I'm gonna be like, smells great, Robert.
All right, well-
go ahead and slurp it up. That's what I should have done.
I feel like if you did that, I would get a little suspicious. I feel like if you did that,
Slurp it up.
if I said, Eve, does this smoke smell bad? And you went, smells great, slurp it up. I'd be like, there's maybe something suspicious going on here.
I think in general, asking someone else to smell the milk is not crazy.
It's not crazy.
I would
Also,
say it's not crazy.
and it wasn't my milk.
Collaborator, sure.
Milk collaborator. Calling it milk collaborator is crazier than asking someone to smell the milk. We're not
It has
collabing.
nothing to do with your milk.
What do you mean nothing to do with the milk? It's like the milk isn't like a scheme we're all in on. It's milk. It's just something that's in the fridge.
I do think you've touched on something kind of interesting, which is that Eve and I have very strict sense of like personal responsibility and like what is and isn't our jobs.
Yeah, that's smelling your milk is not my
Okay,
job.
also, I hate the phrasing smelling your milk. It's not.
It's not my job.
You can't be
Sounds
throwing
like
this
an
around.
innuendo.
It does, and it's so literal, but also it's like it's just like it triggers like some like icky feeling where I'm like, no one's smelling anyone's milk. It's
Stop
the
asking
milk.
people to smell your milk.
It's the milk. I also didn't say, hey Eve, can you smell my milk? I was like, can you smell this milk?
Because you were assuming
Can
that she
you
was a
smell-
milk collaborator, but you incorrectly assumed
I walk
that.
into the kitchen first thing in the morning. I'm like, whew, man, my milk might be stinky today. Ooh, my milk supply might be on the stink side.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I just said, hey, can you smell the milk? Does this milk smell bad? Does this milk smell bad?
Stop asking people to smell your milk who have
Okay.
nothing to do with your milk.
Once
Come
again-
on, your milk
Also,
collaborators.
I'm not a madman running down Hollywood Boulevard with an empty gallon, just like, smell, please, smell my milk.
No, but that's what you were get to me. That's what I saw in my kitchen. I saw a crazed man.
You saw a crazy man.
Begging her to smell your milk.
Dude, speaking of that, this morning I walked into the kitchen.
I knew you were gonna bring
I
this up.
walked into the kitchen, and as soon as I walk in, Eve goes, I need all the ice that's in there. Like that. She rounds on me.
Because he likes to load it up.
Okay, I didn't even come in the kitchen and start to get ice. I literally just walked through the door. First words Eve has
He
spoken to
likes
me
to
all day.
load it up and leave with an ice mountain in his cup.
Also, okay, clearly your choice of words for these things, it just like reinforces kind of your inner vitriol of me, because I am just like, what do you mean he likes to load it up? It's like you think of me as a milk collaborator who likes to load it up. Like it's these the way you phrase things makes them sound insane, but it's not insane.
You like to load it up, and you got ice mountain going on, and then you skip out on your merry way,
Okay, what's also
leaving the rest of us with nothing.
What's also so funny is Eve rounded
And
on
then
me
it
with so
becomes
much
a
aggression
barren
that
wasteland.
even though Eve has never brought up ice use to me ever, she rounded me with so much aggression that immediately I'm like, oh, I bet Eve has had a running internal monologue for many months, if not years, about my ice usage that I just wasn't privy to. Cut to Eve has these phrases like, Chubbs likes to load it up. He likes to create ice mountain. Before today, loaded up in Ice Mountain have never been used before. But clearly they're mainstays in Eve's
But then
head.
he was like, but then he admitted, he was like, oh yeah, the other day I came in here and I was gonna say, oh, I love when you open the ice tray and there's already so much ice in it. But then I realized, oh, you put the ice in there and you would be mad if I said that. So I
Yes.
didn't say that. And I was like, yeah, because I would be mad. Because I'd be pissed and I was
I
already
know.
pissed. I was already pissed that you were loading it up. And I
Yeah.
would have been even more pissed if you had made a comment.
I like
that.
that you think it's some crazy thing that I walk into the kitchen and I'm paranoid about potentially triggering your rage when, as we've shown this very podcast, every move I make is like walking through a minefield. I'll grab a cup and then Eve will be like, oh, look at this. Cupgate at it again. Here to fill it up. And I'm like, what? I'm just grabbing a cup.
And he goes, yeah, I was gonna get a few cubes. And I'm like, a few cubes?
Yeah.
You are gonna load it up if I didn't say nothing.
I was gonna
I
get
was getting ahead of it. I was preemptively doing, because it's like it's weirder if while you're loading it up, I'm like
again, I
like,
dispute loading it up as being an accurate descriptor.
I'm like back in the tray.
Yeah,
It's
Eve,
better
that would
if I
be
say it
weirder.
before.
But okay.
And I say no loading zone.
To me, a big problem is that our freezer is broken and that it doesn't make ice on its own.
True. I mean, that's fine. I understand that. But also, there have been times when I put ice. It's not like I put ice in the ice tray too.
Whatever, I'm bored now.
As soon as I say my
Over
piece.
ice skate.
Really? Because you seemed
Come
so
over
interested in
ice
ice skate
skate.
30 seconds ago.
All right, say your thing about the washing machine.
Oh, so we
This
got
is
a
the
new
appliance
I'm
episode.
not sure I'm fully ready to leave ice skate.
Well,
because
I am.
I've noticed a recurring pattern on topics. We broach a topic, I get dogpiled, and then I go, and from my point of view, and immediately
And
change
guess
the
what?
subject,
And
change the
guess what?
subject.
That's the Young Old podcast for you.
Robert wants to give his point of view from the tippy top of Ice Mountain.
Wow. First thing you said about ice skate. First thing you said.
Okay, so we got a new washing machine.
Yeah.
And it's really fancy and big. And when the guy's installing it, he tells me that this washing machine needs to be drained by hand once a month.
And I literally lost my
And
shit.
he lost her freaking
Because I was like, what the? Like, first of all, how are you not going to put that in bold, in caps, like, when you buy the washing
Like,
machine?
would
Because
we
that
have
seems
bought
like
this high
really
maintenance washing
pertinent
machine?
information.
It is so crazy. It's like with these newfound appliances, like things have become so evolved, they actually fucking suck now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's so advanced, it's terrible. Where I'm like, I'm pretty sure like the washing machines they had in like 2015, you just had them.
Right. Because I'm also like, if you have to do that, you haven't made the washing machine right yet. You need to go back to the drawing board. It's not finished.
Yeah, they're like, oh, by the way, when you use this washing machine, you're gonna have to wash all the clothes after you take them out of the machine.
Because
I'm
that's
like, what?
literally what it's giving.
Like,
Yeah.
you're still in the development research.
Yeah, you're
phase
still
of
you're
your product.
washing. Why have you released this to the public?
Yeah.
Also,
It's
you
not
pay
This
done.
is not a consumer model.
And these
it's
are not
ready.
cheap washing machines.
No, they're
No.
very expensive.
They're like, oh, you buy the most expensive washing machine on the
Yeah.
market and they bring it to you and they're like, oh, by the way, if you want this to wash your clothes, you need to bring Madame Zeroni up the mountain.
Yes, and
I
it's
hope
like,
that's not a problem.
It's like go back to the washing machine drawing board because
Like, I don't want to talk to Madame Zeroni to
No.
use the
because
washing machine.
it's not finished. You did not make the washing machine.
Also, I
yet.
didn't even tell you this, but he pointed out that there's a diagram. Like, there's a diagram. It's a 5-part diagram that shows you how to use the hose.
No,
to
there
drain
should
it.
not.
What?
There should not
Yeah,
be a diagram
like-
included
Well, it's
with
like-
your
it's
product.
not- we work
Complex
for the washing
process.
machine
Yeah,
company.
we're washing machine maintenance men.
Yeah.
And he said, if you want it, like you have to do this, quote unquote, if you want it to last. And it's like,
Yeah.
You make it last.
Right.
How about you make
You
something
guys,
that lasts?
it's your washing machine.
Yeah.
They act like they just found it or something. And like,
Yeah.
well, they act like we're washing machine collaborators on this. It's like, no,
they do.
we bought it from you.
It seems like
And also, they drop this on you well after you've paid for
right,
it, and
like
it's
right.
in your
Also,
house.
they've
Like
installed
I
it. They've
said-
gotten rid of your other washing machine. They've thrown away our other washing
Right
machine.
after they destroy your other washing machine, they're like, oh, by the way, the one you bought kind of fucking sucks, actually.
Like, they don't include any of this information when you're buying it. You think, oh, I'm buying a normal washing machine that clearly wouldn't require me to do labor
But no,
Yeah.
you'd be wrong.
Also-
and,
Yeah.
and interpret a diagram.
Again, it was giving IKEA.
Like, what?
Very complicated.
Yeah. Also, there shouldn't even be a washing machine drawing board. It's a square. It's a big box you throw your clothes into.
It washes.
It washes. You take your clothes out. That's it. You don't actually need to do all these settings and this complicated stuff.
Yeah, like, why do we have to do something? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways, another thing
Oh,
we were
literally,
saying.
this is, and I didn't tell you guys because I bumped into him on the way out, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, for this washing machine to work, when you get ice out of your freezer, you gotta load it up. You gotta
That's
load
why
up
you've
Ice
been
Mountain."
loading it up.
You gotta
Our
make
washing machine will last a real long
I
time.
made that as a joke, but what I hate about that, even as I knew this, I'm like, great, now I'm gonna have to pretend that I've been loading it up. I don't want to give up the fact that I've actually been loading it up and
Madame
creating Ice
Zeroni
Mountain.
lives at the top of Ice Mountain.
She do.
All right, and I know I brought that. We were so far from Ice Skate, but I had a joke about Ice Skate, so I made it. But now we're back. We're back at Ice Mountain.
We're back. I have a surprise. Do you want me to do my surprise now?
Oh yeah, what's your surprise?
What's your
Well, I have to go
surprise?
into the closet and get it. But maybe Eve was saying that she thought it was unfair that we
Oh, yes,
talked
I was gonna
her
bring this
off
up.
camera.
We Shars talked
But
we
I was
shit
saying, but I
talked
was
her.
gonna
think
say,
Shars talked
okay,
you
but
while
I
you
was
go in
gonna
the
say, yeah,
closet.
I was gonna say to make it even. You guys can say whatever you want about
No,
me.
but then when
Yeah.
I guess we Shars
What?
talk Chubbs like when he's here, so it's
There's
fine.
no. What would that be? Like,
Right, there's just something
What
to say
else
behind
could
his
be
back.
said?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my surprise, and you guys can Shars talk me to make to even the playing field.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
I can't wait.
Okay, so Dana.
Every day she rolls around in the mud, and then she gets on here with all the mud.
Dude, every day, she sees what you're wearing and she runs to her copy machine and she prints out a copy of what you're wearing and that's what she wears.
Okay, you joke, but she's literally made me switch outfits with her before because she liked what I was wearing better. And she's been like, no, you have to take it off. I have to wear that.
Dana went through a portal to a magical land where she became the monarch of that land and she treats her subjects incredibly poorly. Like she's like an evil monarch of this fantasy world and only I know about it.
I'm bored.
Okay, then you wanted to do this.
No, well, I was just mad because last time when I left, y'all shit talked to me about being stinky around you, which I'm like, how many times do I have to say it? You're not people. When I am here, this is the private. This is the home. If people want to be stinky in their own homes, I say, do you. It's when you're out in the public space in a workout class specifically that I think it's rude. If those people want to go home and be stinky, by all means.
Dana, if we're gonna keep the shit talking Dana Venmos people to get as stinky as possible and then go sit next to you in
Oh
Seoul.
my god, that would be a crazy prank.
I mean, that actually would be a great prank.
that would be a oh my god, stop!
Oh my fucking god.
This is insanity.
Okay, so I'm back with my surprise. This was my
Wow.
Valentine's Day present to Robert.
Oh, did they arrive late?
They arrived very late, but here they are.
Whoa.
I got you a matching pair.
Okay, not to be
Wow.
not to bring up Copygate again, but yeah, I literally got you socks of Biter that looked just like
You
that.
did. It's true. That's actually how I got the idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But what do you think, Robert? Do you like it?
I mean, you know what? I mean, it's a lot. Tell you what, I did not expect you
No,
to be
I did
wearing
not
this.
expect this to be the surprise.
I'm like, wow, Dana, that gift is so cute. Cut the cameras.
I did not think this was gonna be. Okay, are you gonna go put yours on and we should talk you?
I don't think I'm gonna put it on.
You don't have to put it on. I just wanted to show up in it for.
I mean, the
a
effect
visual
of this is
effect.
I mean, yeah,
wild.
seeing it on is crazy.
Also,
And
it's like, that's
your
fully
head
my
is so
face.
big on it. Like look how big you're my whole knee.
Well, yeah, you had to make it that way.
Yeah.
It's not like my head is big. It's that the
This is
print
crazy,
job.
bro.
This is one of the only things that I've broken my no by.
But it doesn't count. 'Cause
purchase.
It's a gift.
It was a gift.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
And don't you feel blessed?
I literally am like, it's just like I have no responses locked and loaded for when someone sits down next to you wearing clothes with your face on it. I actually I'm somewhat speechless.
You're coming up short for that specifically. You always have something to say, but now nothing.
Now nothing. I mean,
I've left you speechless.
I mean, yeah.
And she was inspired by the socks I got her with Biter's face.
I was.
So.
Well, Biter's a dog, and I'm a human being, so it's kind of different.
So what would you rate the present?
Huh?
Are you sad that they didn't come in time for Valentine's Day? Would this have made you feel loved?
Would you guys have worn it to Universal?
Yeah.
If we were walking around Universal wearing pajamas with my face on it?
We'd still be less autistic than the people in full Harry Potter.
I mean, that
garb.
is true. There's also something funny about that, though, where it's like, it's not like my pajamas have Dana's face on it and hers have mine. They both have my face on it. So it looks like we're in just like a very specific abusive relationship.
That's so real. Because yeah, it would make more sense if one set had like you wear the ones with his, like him and hers, but they're just his and his.
They're just his and his. I thought that was funnier.
No, it is funny. It's
Yeah,
funny.
It is funny.
Well, do I see myself wearing it on the reg? I'm going to be honest with you, probably not.
But you think we'll wear them like one
Because
time?
I think he would wear ones with your face, but I think
he would wear ones. With
Well,
my
because
face.
it's funny to wear it as like, oh, with someone else's face, with Dana's face.
Yeah.
Me wearing it with my own face on it. There's like,
Well, I was thinking I could get a picture of you making the face that you're making in here in your pajamas. That's kind of what I wanted.
I guess I'll do whatever you'd like.
Well, but it's a present for you. I don't want it to be like,
Oh, it
pervy.
is. It is.
I want it to be like, oh, I like it. You laughed uncomfortably.
Huh?
It seems like you don't like the present like at all. It seems like you're actually off put by it.
I'm not off put. I'm just shocked. I'm just really surprised.
I like them.
All right.
And also when you came out, like I really didn't know what the surprise was
Neither
gonna
did
be,
I.
and like you truly surprised me.
Well, a lot
I'm
of times
truly
someone's like, I have a
surprised.
surprise for you, and it's not really a surprise. When you got Since 74s,
Right.
and you got me a pair of Since 74s too, that didn't really surprise me. I loved it. Didn't really surprise me. This truly surprised
I'm
me.
surprised.
And now I can't get the image of us walking around both wearing it, and people are like, people like sharing that room are like, oh my god, he makes his fiance wear clothes with his face
It's
on
like
it.
how people say Kanye abuses his wife.
Yeah, Bianca.
But even
via her
Kanye isn't
outfits,
having her wear
but-
clothes with his face on it.
I think people would have less of a problem with that.
Yeah, because at least then she'd be wearing
Then she'd be
clothes.
wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, babe.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Consider me surprised.
Are you surprised, young oldenators?
Young Goldenators, what do you
If
think
you're
of
on
this?
audio,
Oh, if you're on audio, sorry.
you gotta see this. You gotta see this.
If you're on audio, go switch to video. Go
gotta
look up
see
the
this
podcast on
shit.
YouTube. You gotta see it. It can't be missed.
This really can't be missed.
I mean, I do look good in this photo.
You do. And I thought it would be a good color for you. That's why I chose the color.
Yeah.
You seem to like this shade of blue.
No, I like blue, and I guess I like my face.
I think it's a very thoughtful present.
No, it's definitely thoughtful. It's
Why
a
won't
great
you put them
present.
on?
Yeah.
Huh?
Why won't you put them on?
Because I don't want to be wearing pajamas with my own face on it. That seems
So you
crazy.
think you'll never wear them? What about on Christmas?
Why would I wear them specifically on Christmas?
people-
Because
like
people wear
Christmas
matching pajamas on
pajamas.
Christmas. We have matching pajamas.
we
we
have
wore on
matching Christmas pajamas, but
So
yeah, they're like
when-
Christmas
so,
colors.
Okay, so when do you see yourself wearing these?
I think if I have like a big business meeting, I think if I'm going to like
Dude,
network
answering,
somewhere
like, a Zoom
important.
call wearing pajamas with your own face on them.
Giving them the timber
And
treatment.
people are like,
Giving them the
"What are you
timber
wearing?" And I'm
treatment.
like, just my clothes."
Just young don't know about the timber treatment.
no, we have never talked about the timber treatment.
Really?
On
Oh,
no.
God.
Are you sure?
No, we haven't. We haven't talked
The
about timber
treatment is basically, well, it first originated when I was what?
Robert's so upset.
Literally, the way
Okay, do
He
you want
hates
to put on?
loaded up. He hates ice
I
Mountain.
barely,
He
like,
hates
my
timber
composure
treatment.
barely lasted
Yeah.
through Ice Mountain and Loaded Up, but I was wavering, but it's like I was just keeping my balance.
Yeah.
And then
How
Dana
about
comes
we-
out with the pajamas with my face on it, and I'm just like fully just.
How about we talk about timber treatment while you go change into your jam?
How about you guys talk about timber treatment while I just stare at the pajamas with a blank expression on my face, trying to figure out my
If
next
you're not
move.
gonna wear them right now, when else would you wear them?
I told you at
For a
a
business
funeral
meeting?
of a loved one, at an important business meeting.
You can wear them to my funeral.
Huh?
about
I have
the
a
wedding?
feeling that I'll die like way before you. What the
Okay,
What?
anyways.
That's
just
so
feeling.
interesting because you always used to say that you wanted us to die at the same time.
I know. I used to say that, but now I'm just like, I think that also you should live a life without me. Like you should get.
You'd
You're
want me to
gonna
move
do-
on?
you're
I
gonna do
wouldn't
that.
want you
You'd
to
want
move
me to
on.
move on?
I would
No,
want
you
you to move
can't
on.
do. You can't do that. I'll be there personally making sure he doesn't move on.
I'm like, it's like 15 years after Dana passes away. I'm getting married, and then just like as we're getting married, saying the vows, I see like a little red dot on my fiance's
The
chest.
exact same thing. I was literally gonna say red dot.
And then I look up, Eve's in the rafters with a sniper rifle. She's like, I'm saving you, girl! He loads it up!
I looked it up. I'm like, a quick death is better for her in the long run than the the slow, painful death that is loading it up.
Dude, the only thing we love more than introducing a new just term of mythology like timber treatment is immediately jumping off and not explaining it at all.
Okay, go change into your jam.
I'm not gonna, I don't want to I would prefer not to wear them.
That's
but
fine.
Should I wear them? Actually, is that good?
I mean, I think it's fun
Well,
for the
here's
podcast,
also
but
what
you
I'm-
don't have to wear them. I was also gonna get a pair for Eve, but I was like, it's too much.
That would be.
was like,
we're already
so
starting
if you're
it too
not
much.
gonna change into them, should I change into them?
I think then that would make this whole podcast look insane.
Well, it looks like you're a cult leader.
Well, it very much
but
would.
with two members who like roast the frick out of
It's
you.
like
I
a
literally,
reverse cult leader.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
like
the
when-
cult is there's one guy we shit on.
When are you not gonna wear them? When are you gonna wear them? And don't say funeral or business meeting. What about wedding reception?
Will you wear them to our wedding reception?
Dude, that would be a really funny way to just like truly make all my family members think I'm over the ledge.
They already think
they
that.
And they
You're over
already
the
think
ledge,
that.
yeah.
But I know that was what would be so funny if we just went that extra mile.
Well, I was saying Robert creates really normal like online content. Like I would say in terms of like the rating of his content, it's like pretty peachy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like his family kind of like low key acts like he's like making porn.
Yeah,
Well, I
showing
remember-
hole on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Well, I remember like I was like looking for a new job years ago, and then my dad goes very seriously. He was like, "Well, do you think like your job search might be hurt by having a lot of kind of edgy material up online?" And it's like edgy material.
Edgy material is
And it's
crazy.
like you making up like fake scenarios about
Yeah.
dating Davy Jones.
Yeah, and the edgy material is like, what if my girlfriend is from outer space?
It's because the hiring guy is dating Davy Jones and he doesn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
He's like, what's funny
He's like,
about
"What's
dating
funny about
Davy
dating
Jones?
Davy
And while he's
Jones?"
looking at like a family portrait of like him and Davy Jones wearing Christmas sweaters together.
Yeah, he doesn't think that's
Wearing
funny.
Davy Jones
with
pajamas.
on the
Pajamas?
sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
He's
like,
really
go
not
change
gonna
into
put
your
them
jam-
on. Yeah, just
I
put
know.
them
How are
on.
you not going to change to your jam jams? Somebody comes with a gift for you.
It is
also
bad.
just
It is
spit
rude.
in their
I did wear the
I'm like,
poncho.
How is this household? How in this household
you
is
go
it
put them
weird
on.
for me to be like smell the milk, but actually normal for me to just put on a pair of pajamas with my
You
own
put them
face
on,
all
or
over?
I'll put them on, and it's gonna be way worse
Yeah,
if I put them
Eve
on.
can't put them on because then
Yeah.
it looks like I forced this
Yeah, so
podcast
you gotta go
to
put
put
them
them
on.
on. You just want an excuse to talk shit about me while I'm gone.
Well, I was gonna talk shit about you while you were here, so regardless. So.
Fine.
Go put on your jam
I'll go put them
jams.
on.
Yeah, he's putting on the jam jams.
Wow, you
I'm
really
just
did
like-
it.
I'm just like, you may as well wear them now because I just don't know what other occasion, unless you want to do it next episode or something. These could be your new uniform.
The door just opened. Do you think we have a ghost?
Yeah, no, that door just doesn't fully close, so then it reopens.
Which is how Biter sneaks in here
Which
to
is how
have his
Biter
affair
sneaks
with
in here to have
Orangina.
his affair with her. Maybe Biter made it so the door doesn't close so that he can come in with his to have his affair.
Dude, maybe. He's smart like that.
Anyways, but maybe this could be your new like pod uniform or something.
Yeah, should I wear this every podcast?
Yeah, I think that's a
I
great
definitely
idea.
could.
Also, I was just thinking about like the boy in the striped pajamas, but
Yeah.
instead it's like the boy in the Chubbs pajamas.
Yeah, the boy in the Chubbs pajamas. What happens in the boy in the striped pajamas again?
It's really sad. It's a dark story.
Yeah, isn't it like he's like dying or something?
No, it's about the Holocaust.
Oh, so it's about like a lot of people dying.
Well, yeah, but it's, okay. You know what? Let's not talk. I just wanted to say the boy in the Chubbs pajamas. That's all. I didn't want to go into the actual plot of the movie.
It's a movie. I thought it was a book.
Maybe it's a book, but we watched the movie in school.
I don't think I watched that movie in school.
Well, it's sad and it's depressing, which is the same word.
We
but you
always
know.
talk about how school is like such a bummer.
Dude,
Like,
school's such a
well,
bummer.
Yeah, well, we'll wait for Chubbs because I'm sure we want to talk
what
about.
I was going to talk about the timber treatment. Okay, guys.
Yes.
Imagine this: you're sleeping.
Imagine
Oh,
this.
no, he's back.
Oh,
you
did
guys
you
will
tuck
never
them
hear
in?
about the timber treatment.
Why'd you tuck them
Yeah, why'd you
in?
tuck them in? Untuck them.
They're really small. They are small. I know because this is a bigger size than I usually wear, and they're a little tight. You look.
This is crazy.
Make the face. Make the face.
Let's all make the face for the thumbnail. This is actually nuts.
This is crazy.
This
How do you
nuts.
feel?
Well, let's make the face for the thumbnail again.
Okay. How do you feel?
I feel right, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel
This
like
is
why
what
was
you
I ever
needed.
wearing clothes that weren't covered with my own face?
Yeah.
Also, do you now feel silly for protesting?
It's really funny to like see you and then see you.
Yeah.
Also,
so wild.
Obviously I could picture, what's he gonna look like with them on, but like nothing. It's so like the
Yeah.
real thing.
It's like now I have them on.
Like
It's
everything is better in reality than in theory.
Like I couldn't imagine it looking like this, really.
Yeah.
And also, you both wearing them is crazy.
It is crazy. This is wild.
I was saying, what if they became your new pod uniform? Like every
Yeah,
time
we had to wear
we're
them
on the
every
pod,
time.
you are always wearing
Well,
them.
the way literally I would be then a zero addition to the pod because like you'd be like mention something and I'd just be like,
Yeah,
oh, and then I'd be like, 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 oh What? 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 Where am I?
I mean, it really changes up the vibe in here drastically.
I mean, I would agree with that. It is just like, because suddenly it goes from like a podcast to, like you said, some sort of very strange meeting.
Also, don't let our haters get a hold of this episode.
I think the haters are probably done with us.
Yeah, they're probably done with
Also,
us.
it's also like, what's really to hate about this? Because it's like, what are they going to say? That's weird as fuck. Meanwhile, we're just up here like, this is weird as fuck.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's
Yeah.
deep.
We're like, this is weird.
They're kind of like low cut. You're kind of like
I know,
showing
it's
man
kind of
cleavage.
V-neck. Well, that's also it. It's kind of like you just like you've dressed like you always say, like you've dressed me up like some sort of very weird doll.
Yeah, well, I always say that whenever I fold Robert's laundry, which I do, even though we're not married. Yes, I do wifey labor for girlfriend prices.
Boo,
I've decided that that's
boo.
okay for me because Robert did my laundry for many years. Just whatever. But whenever I'm folding,
Yeah.
whenever I'm
Who do you
when
think
I-
did Dana's laundry
yeah.
before she started doing laundry?
Yeah, Robert was doing it. But now that I do the laundry, whenever I'm folding Robert's clothes, I always say that it feels like I have a man doll. I'm like taking care of.
And now you've gotten to the stage of owning a doll where you just start fucking with it. You're like, I've done all the normal shit I can do with this doll.
Well, it's
Let's
like
see if it melts under a lighter.
The Barbie weird doll.
Oh, one
Yeah,
time I was
weird Barbie.
melting I had a Human Torch action figure. He's a fire guy. He's covered in fire. And I was just playing around. I was like, I was really young, so I just took a lighter and I was like, oh, I want to see if I can like melt the Human Torch because he's on fire. You know, stupid but little boy stuff. And the scent of it made my siblings get mad. They said, Robert's smoking. It smells like smoke in there. And then my mom
Smoking.
and then my mom heard and then she smelled it and then she made me have a long serious talk about sneaking cigarettes and smoking cigarettes. I'm like 11.
I thought you were gonna say like she made you smoke an entire pack of cigarettes, and you're like, Mom, I just lit a doll on fire. And
Yeah.
she's like, smoke every single one.
And also that sounds like a lie. It's like, no, I was melting my action figure.
Why didn't you just show her the proof?
Because I barely. It's also they actually don't melt that easy. You have to actually for like a
So he was the Human Torch.
a plastic doll. It actually takes so much to melt. My mom finds that out. She's like, now you have to melt an entire pack of action figures.
Wait, so then did she not when you said, "Oh, I was melted"? But also, where did she think you got the cigarette?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any of this. I also think we were on their way out the door, so it was kind of like it was like such a quick little meeting that there was only time to
You couldn't protest.
kind of plant the boot heel in my rump,
Right.
metaphorically speaking. And then we
Sure.
were out the door, and then the moment had passed because then I can't like 2 days later be like, hey mom, by the way, remember when you said I was smoking? I was actually just melting an action
I
figure
feel like the
because
smell
that feels
of-
like I took 2 days to come up with an alibi.
The smell of burnt plastic doesn't smell like cigarettes.
But my
though.
parents don't smoke,
So
so
they
I
don't
think
know
to them
that. Okay,
anything.
got it.
Yeah, fire equals smoke. I
Yeah.
mean, that happened in Modern Family with a cigarette burn.
Yeah, I could get a bowl of potpourri, and my parents would be like, "Who's smoking in here?"
I had a My Little Pony.
I'm so sorry, but can I change? Because it is just like it's like low cut.
I can
Okay,
tell you're feeling really
okay.
uncomfortable.
Well, of course I'm uncomfortable. I'm
Oh,
over
like,
here
honestly,
like
you put them on. We did the thing.
we
now
did the
you
thing.
can take.
Why
now
don't
I
you
feel
put
like
on-
I'm a
why don't you put on
waitress
a
at like the
shirt and you can
Playboy
leave
Club.
the pants
And I
on?
still didn't finish explaining timber treatment,
All
so
right,
you can go change while I
Yeah.
explain that.
I also don't necessarily like that now that timber treatment is being explained while I'm gone because I can't
well,
advocate for
well,
my
I'm
own
kind of
case.
sad because I feel like my
Okay, well,
gift
I
didn't
can-
really land as I wanted.
I think this gift made a bigger impact than any gift anyone has ever
And now we
gotten.
can write it off as a business expense.
Yeah.
That's true.
And you spent, I imagine, 30, 40 grand on these?
It was a pretty penny.
It was a pretty penny.
It was a pretty
All
penny.
right, I'll keep the pants
Okay,
on,
I'll
but I am
talk
going to
about
change the
something
shirt.
else then, if you want.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say related to the action figure.
so funny.
And I love how like it was too revealing for him. He felt too slutty in the Robert BJs.
This is his magic Mike moment.
This is okay. They get it.
Okay.
Seems like you like them.
He's Busty Bobby.
Bro, he's Busty Bobby. If you're on audio, do not come to video.
Don't.
It's
It's pretty bleak over
really
here.
bleak
It's
over
pretty
here.
scary. Trigger
You
warning.
don't want to see
Trigger warning.
this.
Okay, so the timber treatment.
No, wait. First, I have a doll thing.
Okay.
I had a My Little Pony doll, and the hair was like really frizzy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to straighten the hair, but the hair isn't. It's
I think
made
I
of.
remember this. It's not real hair. It's made
Yeah,
of plastic.
it's made of plastic,
so it'll burn.
really thin plastic.
Yeah.
So when I went to straighten it with the straightener, it like melted. and I was like, "What the hell? What's wrong with her hair?"
Yeah. Which
Anyways.
pony was it?
I don't know. It was just from like a McDonald's thing. It was like a McDonald's toy one.
Better?
Better. I don't feel like a slut anymore.
But you kept the pants.
I did keep the pants. I mean, the pants are quite nice.
Okay, so you're gonna wear the pants.
I'm wearing my original pants underneath the pants, though.
It seems like you were just uncomfortable about the amount of skin you were showing, not so much that your face was showing.
Just that you were slutting it up.
I was slutting it up. It was kind of a deep V.
Yeah. Okay. So do we want to timber treatment?
So I started off by saying, picture this, young oldenators. You're sound asleep. All of a sudden, the walls are shaking. The ceiling is quaking. You go, is this another California earthquake with a Richter scale of, wait, what's the highest on the Richter
7?
scale? With a 7 point on the Richter scale. And then you hear,
Well, 10 is the highest, but 7 seems like more
whatever. A booming voice that is it's like 3, 5, 4, 4.
This is good mise en scène.
Yeah, go on.
And then it turns out it's actually Chubbs on a Zoom call upstairs with Dana. And then you hear, since that woke you up, you also hear Dana's voice, but at a very much like lower volume. And you're like, what's happening? Like, why is he screaming? And then you put it together that it sounds like, oh, they're on a Zoom meeting. Like they're talking to somebody on Zoom. And I'm like, well, clearly it has to be somebody like new that this is like the first time they're talking. And that must be why like he's giving them the full treatment, the full timber treatment, if you will. Because like
I'm gonna pee my Robert face pajama pants.
anyways, and then obviously later I was like, oh, I could tell you like we're on Zoom with somebody new because like you were giving them the timber treatment. And then anytime he's loud now, it's called the timber treatment.
It seems like you were calling it the timber treatment every time I was loud ever. I also reject that I was loud. First off, Mike, rebuttal. Eve goes, imagine you're asleep in bed and a loud noise wakes you up. It's 11 a.m. on a
it was
weekday.
like 3 p.m.
It was late. It was late.
Yeah.
It was late on a weekday. Whatever. Also, it's not the timber treatment. I'm just directly above her room taking a Zoom call, speaking at a normal volume. No one has ever complained about my volume on Zoom.
Whatever.
Well, because Zoom regulates the volume.
No, but also
You
Zoom
do
regulates the volume.
project. You do speak sometimes like you're addressing an MP room full of rowdy children.
with no
No.
microphone.
No, I talk I have a strong voice. I'm not speaking abnormally loud though.
No, that's not true. Okay, so then I was saying the person on Zoom, I am glad for their sake that Zoom regulates the volume because otherwise they would be fearing for their life. They'd be like, why is this man yelling at me? Like,
I
why
was
is he
not
so
yelling.
angry?
I was
what
not
did
angry.
I do?
I was speaking normally and jovially. I was speaking completely normally. And again,
Young oldenators, it was extremely
it was
loud.
not extreme.
He was
Eve was just
screaming
angry
at the
because she
top
got
of-
woken up.
No, but then when Dana would talk, it would be like levels
We did
below.
hit record, right?
Yeah, it seems like we're recording. Yeah, we're recording.
Great. I just got really scared for a second.
Oh my god, me
No,
too.
yeah, because that was gold. We'd
That
miss
was gold.
we'd miss me getting obliterated and you seeing just like the construction of who I am as a person be broken down ice cube by ice cube, volume level by volume level.
I love who you are.
Anyways,
But-
you guys can choose who to believe in the timber situation. All I have to say is he was loud AF.
I was not loud.
screaming at
You
the
got
top of his
you got
lungs.
woken up one day late because I was right above you doing a Zoom call. That I was not yelling. That's not. And then
But
you
then I was saying, I
projected
hear
that
him.
anger at being woken up onto my volume.
I hear him being on Zoom all the time, okay? And he sounds like, no, you know, still projecting, but, but like a more normal level. And that's because he's on that same Zoom all the time. So those people aren't new and they don't need the first timer timber treatment. But the reason I could tell that the Zoom
Why would I
this
give
time
people
around,
I'm talking to the first time an extra loud, to use your phrase, timber treatment? Why
Because
would I
it's-
do that?
I don't know. It's subconscious. I don't think you're consciously like, oh, first meeting time for the timber treatment. But I do think there's something subconsciously in your brain that's like, okay, gotta make a good impression. Gotta give them the timber treatment.
Why would I? That clearly, as you said, that wouldn't be a first impression. I'm not giving the timber treatment. Also, sometimes you'll be playing piano upstairs and I'll hear you downstairs. I don't think you're giving me the piano treatment. I don't think you're giving me the grand piano treatment. I just can hear it.
I was just like, wow, he's really, he's yelling up there.
I was not
and I
yelling.
was like, it's
speaking
a
at a
Zoom
normal
meeting.
volume.
It's not. Why is he yelling like that?
No, and again, if you're picturing me yelling on Zoom upstairs and Eve getting woken up about it, that's not correct. I was talking at exactly the normal volume that I always talk.
And
thing
Eve
is,
was a lazy in bed.
I would demonstrate, but like I don't want to like hurt the young oldenators' ears. Okay.
And that's what basically the timber treatment is when Robert talks loud on Zoom.
Or just in general.
I'm literally gonna be having a nightmare tonight, and it's gonna be like the pajamas with my face, cubes, timber treatment. I'm gonna wake up in a cold sweat. I'm gonna be like, that was just a dream, right? And Dana's gonna be like, no, that was real.
And I'll be wearing your pajamas.
And I'll be like,
Okay, wait, my other beef with you guys talking shit about me when I went into the bathroom last episode. Okay, so I said you're allowed to be stinky in your own home. It's when you're out in a workout class that is unacceptable.
There was a stinky at the gym today that made it so I couldn't Stairmaster.
Oh,
also.
no.
And not only was he stinky, he was like talking super loud on the phone.
Oh my god.
I know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But then I was saying that there was like dramatic irony for the listeners because you guys were like, wow, it's so funny how she talks about the stinkies out in public, but she's a stinky. And then I come back and I'm like, hey guys, time for me to talk about my stinky story. And then, and it's literally like watching that back, like that was like, it's like, wow, I look like an idiot.
did we tease you up? No, you don't. You just look like a stinky person.
Yeah.
You just,
No, but then for you to be like, oh,
Well,
how funny that she
Yeah,
talks
it
about
exposes your
And
hypocrisy.
then,
Yeah.
But we're all hypocrites.
But
in
it's not
certain
how
ways.
I'm saying if the stinkies want to be stinky in their own home, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Where do we go from here?
Well, let's see. Eve's mad about the stinky.
It seems like this is kind of a tense episode.
I will never be the same. I will never be the same.
It seems like Loaded Up really got to you.
No, okay.
Loaded got to him when I said it today.
Because we did Load It Up, then we did Milk Collaborator,
Then we did the PJs.
Well, why
then
don't
we did the PJs, then we
PJs
did
were intended to be uplifting.
but you know, but the
PJs were intended
the
to be
PJs
a
came to me and just you're off kilter. The plan is gone. There's no plan. And then we did timber treatment.
When's
So you just
there
feel
ever
like
a
it's
plan?
chaos.
It feels like
today.
pure chaos.
Okay,
it
well,
feels pure chaos. No one knows
So,
what's going on.
How should we redirect is what I'm asking. How could we help you find stability? And is there something like, did you have anything you want to confront me about today?
Is there anything
or
you need?
like-
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, I did have one thing about maybe this is how we get the power back.
Okay.
But this is just something I've noticed about not noticed, but Dana, when you say excuse me to her, she never moves. And I literally mean that so literally. If you're like trying to get by her, you go, hey, excuse me, never ever moves. Ever. Not one time. And I've noticed this again over many, many years. And I've thought, oh, interesting. I said excuse me, but she never moves. And she hears you and she knows how to say excuse me. She'll say it to other people. But when you say excuse me to her, never one time does she just scoot out of the way. And then I confronted her about that. I just mentioned that and she goes, well, in my head, this is what she said. I shouldn't move because what if I was the one who said excuse me? And
Like, I don't
And that's
understand
pretty
why.
sound logic, in
I
my
don't understand why I
opinion.
can't just have a standing excuse me.
That was
because
her
it's
take.
like it's like why should I have
Yeah,
to
why
move?
do you get the excuse
Why do
me?
you get
why
to be
do I have to move
excused?
because you said excuse me? Why can't we simply pretend that I said excuse me and then you would be the one who has to move?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
to me,
your
that
logic.
Makes sense.
Well,
I don't
because
really
I'm not
understand.
in your
I
way.
don't understand. It's like why you think that you're entitled to have me move.
Again, it's not entitlement.
I'm there.
It's not
Preaching, girl.
entitlement.
You're there.
This
You're
is
there.
this is that a recurring theme also of this episode, kind of like the bless you, where it's like you can't just admit that like you want to be a little rude. There has to be this weird logical like bypass to where you don't have to move when someone says excuse
Well,
me.
it is called pathological demand avoidance.
Yeah.
You should get a face tat that says "excuse me."
Yeah. Well, you can get a
Everybody
So
knows
blanket
that you have a
excuse
sta-
me.
you
like-
can get a face tat with literally anything on it, and people would just move out of the way when they
That's
see you
true.
come in.
Face tats are a good way to ensure your permanent standing.
People will
excuse me.
stand aside.
team.
But Dana's like, why should I have to move when you say excuse
Here's
me?
what I'll
It's
say.
like, why does anyone do anything? We're in a society.
My whole life, I have been rude.
Okay.
I don't really know what to say about it, except like
Also, I mean, make it sound like a disease.
Yes. Like it's something you've suffered with your whole life.
I have rude. I have pathological rude.
Yeah.
I mean, in college, some of my
Pathological
friends came up
rude.
with this thing called rude points, where they'd give me rude points.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
what do you do with the rude points?
Nothing.
It was just for
it was
you?
just to keep track. Yeah.
Oh.
of
Because
that
you were
I was
rude.
being rude.
Well, it's kind of validating in a way.
Like
but
a
also,
swear
No,
jar.
people have thought it was like just like a swear jar.
Okay, so
but
what were some of
with
the
rude
things
points.
you did that they thought were rude?
I don't know, just like things I'd say, ways I'd say it, and I maintained that.
just like things I'd say and the ways I say it. That's most of the things you do. You're a yapper.
Yeah. So it would just be like, oh, I'd say something and it would be rude and I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also with excuse me, I feel like you do know, and like the bless you. It's like you knew a sneeze happened. You knew the norm is to say bless you. You consciously chose to not say bless you.
I think I have an absent sense of obligation when it comes to basic social norms.
Which is a long way of saying I'm rude as fuck.
I can be rude.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. I can be
My
rude.
whole life, I've been rude.
You don't know what it's like to grow up never saying please and thank you. To when you're supposed to say bless you, say nothing at all.
I do say please and thank you. But sometimes I say it in a way that I think people think is rude or sarcastic.
Just with your general tone.
Yeah. Like I'm like, please. And they're like, that's rude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. And they're like, that's rude.
You're like, please never say excuse me to me ever fucking again.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for not
you.
expecting me to say God bless you when you sneeze.
But also,
If you really want me to change, I can try.
But I guess, no, you can't try. Clearly you won't change because in college there was a rude jar. And if that didn't kind of shake you from the habit, I accept you as you are, but I do just want some agreement on what you are.
I think permanent excuse me is valid because what if she was the one who said excuse
Yeah.
me? What then? Checkmate.
Someone has a heart attack near you in a restaurant and everyone's like, call 911. And you're just like, what if I was the one who had a heart attack? And then they would have to call 911.
I
So,
can't explain it, but like that is how my brain works.
Valid.
Yeah.
Like I am always like,
I
but
can't
what if
explain
I
it.
did
What
that
if it was
first?
me?
you think you're too special
Yeah.
and sophisticated to
Yeah.
just be rude. So you think that there has to be, you think like, well, I can't explain it. It's something I've dealt with my whole life. The way I think. And it's like,
my
no.
whole life I've been rude.
My whole life I've been, it's the opening monologue of your
Also,
Netflix
the way
original
you led
movie.
Up to it, the way you led up to it sounded like it was gonna be some sort of childhood trauma. You're like, my whole life, ... I've been rude.
Yeah. No, I think I am rude. It's definitely something I look back on and I'm like, that it makes sense why people are so off put
You don't
by
even need to
me.
look back on it. It's
Currently,
now.
it's happening right now.
It's real. It's now.
Yeah. No, I get why people don't like me.
Yeah.
I'm very rude.
But I like you. You're just rude.
Yeah, thank you.
I also, again, as we always say, it's like if you were
Thank
4
you.
inches taller,
Yeah.
none of this shit would fly.
I agree. I think so much of my life and my personality has been informed by the fact that I'm 4'11" and I can't actually hurt you.
Well, there's a Miss
Because
Piggy quality to your rudeness where it just
Yeah.
feels like, oh, we're doing a little skit. It's like, but she's not doing a skit. It's not a
No.
skit just because this cute little cartoony lady is saying
No,
it.
I actually have some aggressive and violent tendencies that if I were a little bit bigger, I would be locked away
I
forever.
can't following people in
Following
your car.
people on the road. I have like rage outbursts. Things get pretty ugly. But
Okay, all I wanted was you to say God bless you. I didn't need you to go on about your rage outbursts.
Sorry.
And the entity that is freed when you speak the words from the cursed book. I'm like, Dana, it would really be great if when someone said excuse me, you could just move out of the way. And Dana's like, I was cursed as a babe. When
be
the
rude.
words are spoken from the book, I must be rude to people out and about.
yeah, it's a
She's
it's a
like
curse.
Ella Enchanted, but she can't do what people tell her. It's the opposite.
Yeah,
That's
well,
so
it is.
true.
It's pathological demand avoidance. It's a pathological demand avoidance, and it is technically a symptom of autism.
Oh my! I love all the psychology terms for just like being a dick.
Yeah, you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw someone on TikTok. They were talking about how they were diagnosed as a narcissist, and they were talking about how they live with narcissism as if, again, it was like polio. Like it was a health condition they struggled with. And I'm like, no, it's you're being an asshole.
Is this the guy with the sunglasses, or are there multiple people?
I'm sure there's
people.
multiple people.
There's multiple accounts that are like, I'm a narcissist.
Ask me anything.
Ask me anything.
But getting diagnosed with narcissism is not the same thing as getting diagnosed with like autism. Because with autism, it's like, okay, it's something you learn to live with and work with and kind of make a part of your life. With narcissism, you're supposed to knock that off.
Yeah, you're supposed
the
to knock
diagnosis
it off.
is meant for you to be like, oh, you got to knock that shit off.
That's true. There are some diagnoses. There are some diagnoses.
Diagnosi?
Where you shouldn't look at them as terminal. They should be
You should
something.
knock it off, bruh.
You should knock it off, bruh.
You need to knock it off, bro.
You need to knock it off,
You should
bruh.
be freaking normal.
It's like when you get diagnosed with strep throat. You don't go,
Yeah.
well, how will I live my whole life with strep throat now?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're like, all right, I'll then know what I have, I'll treat it, and I'll get rid of it in a
I
couple
have
days and go
strep
back to
throat.
school.
Ask me anything.
But you get diagnosed with narcissism, and then you're like, well,
I'm sure don't ask me anything.
I have narcissism, you know?
Yeah.
And now I deal with it. And actually, it's quite brave of me to deal with narcissism. That being said, probably the most narcissistic thing you could do is
just
turn
be-
it
it's
into
just
your
accept-
online
yeah.
brand.
Is to accept
That's
that
tea,
you are a
that's
narcissist.
tea.
Well, I literally think that I'm a narcissist. Ask me anything is like
The most
that is
narcissistic
what.
thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, it's a
That's
closed
the
loop.
quintessential narcissist
It's
behavior.
very pure narcissism.
Yes, it is.
That's true.
I was, as a young child, I was diagnosed with killing bunny rabbits with a hammer. And it's hard for me, you know, but it
Ask
just
me
is what it is.
anything.
Ask me anything.
So part of my diagnosis is that I kill bunny rabbits with a hammer. And whenever I see a bunny rabbit, I take my hammer and I whack the frick out of it.
And then when people look at me like I'm being crazy, I'm like, it's so sad that they're so uneducated on what it is to be
and I just want
diagnosed
to
with
bring
this condition.
awareness to killing bunny rabbits with a hammer.
Because to be diagnosed with KBRWAH,
KBW.
KBRWAH is a really real symptom.
Yeah.
And we meet up once a year out in the forest. And
The bunnies hate to see us
and
coming.
the bunnies hate to see us coming, and it's real hard on the local ecosystem.
But we know that that's just our diagnosis.
And then while one young park ranger is about to tell us to stop, an old grizzled park ranger is like, no, they have KABRWAH. You'll learn, son. You'll learn.
Yeah.
Facts, T.
Facts and tea.
Oh, I saw Alex Cooper. Speaking of like when you say like that's T for blank, she's doing it out of T-Mobile and she said something like that where she's like, and when I say the tea was spilled, I mean T for T-Mobile. And I was like, that's you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because she was doing it out for T-Mobile.
So I was like really ahead of my time calling that lame. Because that's lame.
Yeah.
The T-Mobile thing that was just said.
What's lame about that? I think that's really cool.
What
I think
if
she's
you
a
saw-
motherfucker
what
about
would-
her business.
What would you do if you saw a headline that was like, even Dana dropped Chubbs from Young Old Network? And you were like, what?
how would you get ahead of the scandal?
How would you get out of this scandal? Wait, but then that would imply if we're comparing it to the Alex versus Alex scandal, that would imply that you left the Young Old
That would
Network.
imply that I left because you were
And then-
screwing me on a business deal.
Yeah.
And then we
Got ahead of it by being
by
like,
saying
actually,
that
we
we
fired
dropped you
you.
from the network.
Yeah. And also that would require, because I think Alex Earl's dad spoke up in defense of her getting kind of screwed over in some deals from his perspective.
TJ Earl.
Yeah.
He's a concrete magnate.
So now I would need my
He's an
dad to be
MFer,
like,
that's
you know, the young old girls, they're screwing him over. He uses a normal amount of ice. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows his
think your
his
dad
volume levels on Zoom are average.
Do you think
Everyone
your
knows
dad
it.
would come and defend you?
There is, I'm going to say this is a 0% chance. And if he somehow did, it would be at gunpoint. That would mean I would have had to work some crazy manipulation to pull that off.
So you don't think your parents will ever represent you in a legal context?
I mean, who knows? I don't know. Are you, is that your second surprise?
Was it in a legal context though, or did he just
No,
hop
he
on?
No,
just
he
saw
just
it.
he just had it like as her business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Associate.
So you would just need them to do a quick take. Is all.
Have a take.
Be
Well, there
character
was
witness.
do you guys know, have you heard of Odo Beckham Jr.? He's actually
Yeah.
famous.
Yeah.
Wait,
but
wasn't he on?
Love Island?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
Love
his
Island.
brother.
his brother.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you're the-
Cordell.
you're-
His
son-
Nepo brother.
Yeah, to girls, Odo Beckham Jr. is the older brother of
Cordell's
Cordell
brother.
from Love
Yeah.
Island. But he had a thing where he was on a team. He wasn't getting a lot of catches. He's a wide receiver. And so his dad went on social media and he made like a reel of all the times Odell Beckham Jr. was open and the quarterback didn't throw him the ball.
God,
So it'd be like if my dad made like a very long like highlight reel of all the times I said something hilarious and you two didn't laugh. And this would be on the reel.
I feel like you would edit it though, and then like make him post it, or like hack his account. to
but that was
post
actually a
it.
big thing at the time. People said that he clearly edited it himself
And then made
had
his
his
dad
dad do
post
it.
it.
I mean, why would his dad do that?
I don't know,
But
to
who
support his
knows?
son.
Sports dads are crazy.
That being
Exactly.
said, I just don't believe in boomers' ability to edit video.
I mean, that was
That's
the real
the real
thing. It's like you would have had to
true.
have worked a lot of different stuff to
It
make
is
this
crazy
happen.
how every single millennial and Gen Z can edit video, and boomers would have no idea where to start.
Well, I've also was thinking this. It's like boomers also, I think, pretend they can't do anything at all when in fact they know they can just do it badly. So rather than
Yeah.
admit that they're bad at something, they'll just be like, oh, I don't even do that stuff.
Well, it reminds me of the whole perfectionism is procrastination in disguise thing.
Yeah.
But I think like so many boomers are like that, where they're like, I'm a perfectionist. And it's like, no, you just are scared that you're bad.
I also think that's why boomers pretend that no matter matter what a millennial or Gen Z's job is, they pretend they can't wrap their head around
Yeah.
it. It's like you could literally be working in a cubicle for a State Farm, and like your like uncle would still be like, wait a minute. So you like go into like, what do you call it, an office?
Yeah,
you
they-
work like from 9 a.m. to, what do you say, 5 a.m.? Oh, 5 p.m.? Well, and it's like, it's a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know how this works.
It's actually deep weaponized incompetence.
It's
like
a power
every
play.
boomer, it's a power play. Because Robert and I talk about this a lot. Boomers have a very hard time admitting that their children are successful or succeeding at anything.
Well, I think boomers are low-key upset when their children aren't just like in the streets, just like shaking and writhing around in the gutter.
Well, that's why they invented participation trophies, is because if they didn't have participation trophies, they wouldn't be able to admit that their child won a trophy for real.
And by the way, this is also an important thing too about the participation trophies. My take on participation trophies is they were never for the kid. It was always for the parent. Like the kid doesn't care if they win a Little League trophy or not. It's the insecure, lame parent who's like, my son didn't win a trophy, and all the other dads, their sons won trophies. They will think I am a bad papa.
Yeah.
I think I brought this up to you guys about like when I was in gymnastics, we would always have like an awards banquet where they would give out awards to people for stuff. And I was like, oh, I really think that was like a mean thing that they would do, because I always had a friend who like, and she was so sad every single year because like she wouldn't get an award. And then my mom pointed out to me, she was like, yeah, because her parents were crazy about that. Like obviously you were never sad when you didn't get one because I didn't care about it.
Yeah.
But the reason your friend was sad was because her parents were so obsessed with the award.
And
No,
I
that's
do-
true. It's all projection
I also
from
think
the
that's
parents.
a misdirected solve too. It's like people act like it's about giving the kid a participation trophy or not. And it's like, no, the trophies are a symptom of the disease of the parenting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you raise your kids to be normal, they won't
Right.
care one way or the other.
Because I was here thinking like, oh, it was the awards that made her upset, but it wasn't.
It was
for
the
parents who were
parents.
making her
Because me
upset
and
about the
other
awards.
people were fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's
but
like,
it was her parents that were
oh,
making
we
her
have
upset.
to give kids participation trophies because otherwise the kids who don't get a trophy will feel bad. It's like, yeah, but finish the sentence. They'll feel bad because on the drive home, their parents who are, in the middle of a divorce, they just don't know it yet, are like, you didn't win a trophy, Sandy. I thought you worked hard at dance. You're embarrassing me.
Guess we'll have to take away the TV.
Guess we'll have to take away the TV. That's actually good because it did lead us back to what we were talking about in the
Yeah.
first place. Because I noticed, as per usual, we started with a piece of young old mythology.
Yes.
Completely veered away. But my parents wouldn't let me watch TV because they were wild about that. And instead they made me do Kumon, which is an after-school math and reading program.
Which, when Robert first brought that up, I was like, I didn't know people actually did Kumon. Like, I thought that was just something they have in the mall.
Well, because the people who do Kumon, they don't want to talk about it. It's like coming back from war.
That's
True. You just want to move on with your life.
The logo for Kumon is like a little sad face.
Google the logo for Kumon. It's a sad blank face.
It's a little sad, and it's not even so sad that it's like it looks like defeated.
No, it's the face of resignation.
It
And
looks
that's what
like
they
a
want. They're like,
defeated
this is the face your kid will make when you make them do
And the
Kumon.
parents are like, hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's just pure blind submission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my parents wouldn't let me watch TV. They wouldn't make me do Kumon. But unbeknownst to my parents, Kumon had a prize system where if you completed enough assignments and got a high enough score, you could win tiers of prizes. And because my parents were crazy, they had me do Kumon for years, like many, many years. I eventually got enough points where on the very top shelf was a tiny little handheld TV. So, and by the way, Kumon loved to tempt you. They're like, you sure you don't want a beach ball? And I'm like, step away. I'm wise to your game. I'm getting the cool shit. Don't
He was
talk to
saving
me.
up.
Yeah.
He was saving up for the TV.
Yeah, they're like, hey, buddy, you could trade in your points now and get a baseball. And me, I'm like, no. Because I see the kids with baseballs and they're making the face of your logo. And I'm not doing that. So I got the handheld TV, didn't tell my parents about it.
So
I,
he could watch
I turned their weapon against them and then I got to watch TV. And that's how I got to watch TV.
Kumon against them.
And I literally at night after I went to bed, I would hide under the covers and watch TV under the covers. And
With
that's
your
why I'm
Kumon TV.
Wait, I'd watch my Kumon TV. Damn straight. And
That's
I-
honestly
Wait,
really
where
beautiful.
did you get the Friends discs again?
Well, and that led into, because I would only be able to use the TV after I went to sleep under my covers. Friends reruns were on and on the CW at the time, so I would always watch Friends.
Oh, got
and
it.
as I always say,
Wait, so
I
it
thought it was the
had,
greatest
like-
show
Did it
ever
have, it had
made.
an antenna?
An antenna?
It had an antenna.
Yeah.
Got
Literally an
it.
antenna.
Got
It was
got
just
it,
like
got it.
Network. And I thought Friends was the greatest TV show of all time because it was the only show I had seen in years. It was like water to someone in the desert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you give A&W A&W root beer to someone dying of thirst, they'll be like, there is no drink better than A&W root beer.
Well, it was like how I liked watching Reading Rainbow until I started watching Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
And then you were
And
like,
then I was
"Oh,
like, get out of here,
man."
Reading Rainbow.
Well, I think that when it's like when kids play chess, I'm like, dude, if you get your hands on an Xbox, you're gonna feel so stupid for thinking chess is fun. You have no idea. But anyway, but then I thought like Friends was great, and I had to find a way to watch TV. And what I also had was I had like one of those like tiny portable DVD players. This is also like, it's like my parents banned TV, and they just created this insane like obstacle course for me to watch TV.
That's true for all of like us, is that we're all obsessed with TV now because
Yeah.
it was like it's the forbidden fruit. The
Yeah.
more some
TV was
tells
all
you,
of our contraband.
Yeah.
Like we were uniquely kept from TV, and now all of us are obsessed with TV.
And by the way, and the contraband in question was me watching Ross Geller go on a date, but my pants are too tight.
the contraband.
That's
Yeah.
crack.
Yeah.
I'm shooting up crack
But it's also
when I'm
really funny
watching
'cause, like,
that.
none of us like drink or do drugs, but we do be watching
TV.
anymore.
And anyways-
I'm almost 6 months sober. Wait, it's March 1st.
Yeah.
Are you 6 months sober
I
officially?
think so.
Wow, you haven't smoked crack in 6
I
months?
smoked crack in 6 months.
I'm
But-
like 3 months sober completely.
I'm
we
many,
need
many
chips.
years.
How come we don't have chips? Why don't you get us chips?
I literally, the way I didn't know that was an expectation of me at all.
You get us
Oh my god, I can't
chips?
believe you haven't gotten us chips
I
yet. When I
didn't
got
know-
you these pajamas,
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be loading up with ice. I didn't know I was supposed to be getting you guys chips.
Where's our chips?
All right. But then I was obsessed with Friends. So what I did to be able to watch it was I would save up my birthday money. And when my mom took me to like Target, I would say, take me to Target for like school supplies. I need a notebook for school. She bought it.
Idiot.
Idiot. And then when we were in Target, we'd separate and I'd literally run. I'd grab a Friends DVD box set off the shelf. I would check out without my mom seeing me, run the box set I just bought out to the car, put it underneath the car, like behind the wheel,
crazy.
then run back into my mom and be like, all right, let's get the binder and let's go.
Did they
And
think it was weird when you were checking out as a little boy?
I mean, I don't know. It's Target, man. They don't even see
care.
the customers anymore.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
was there self checkout back then?
No, there was
No.
not. This was
Yeah,
real deal. They probably
okay.
did think I was weird. That this kid
They
is
were
like,
like, why is this little boy buying
Paying in
Friends?
cash.
why is this little
Yeah.
boy buying a
Friends DVDs and cash.
TV PG show as
Yeah.
if it's like crack? But I would run back in after hiding the DVD I just bought under the car, talk to my mom, we'd check out, we'd go to the car. Then when my mom was getting into the driver's seat, I would very quickly grab the Friends
This
DVD
is
from underneath the
crazy.
car, hide it underneath my shirt, and then climb into the back seat. And then,
This is nuts.
it was a whole heist.
it was a heist.
This is a whole heist.
I was doing Ocean's 11.
Literally Ocean's
But this
11
is
is
the thing.
legally
quaking.
buy a TV show rated TV
Hiding
PG.
it under the car and then sneaking it in once you got back to the car
And-
is
and then
All
I-
to see Ross and Rachel. Will they? Won't they?
all to see Ross and Rachel.
And then I would, because I knew that these were so limited, I would only let myself watch one episode a night.
you were rationing.
And I stuck to it. I stuck to it.
I feel like I would just
Wow.
watch it all and then just keep rewatching it.
And once I watched one episode a night, then guess what? Then I got to just keep rewatching it. And also,
First the
yeah.
ration, then the binge.
And as I always, and I've also said this before, but my parents wouldn't let me have internet access. So I had like a Call of Duty 2 computer game. I had it for PC, but I didn't have internet access to do like multiplayer. So I would do multiplayer, but without internet, there's no other players. So it's basically me just walking through a digital small town in France. And then I would have that on one screen, and I would have my Friends DVDs playing on this screen. Both screens so tiny, and I literally don't know if I've ever achieved like a purer happiness than I did.
And just walking, like not even playing the game. Just
Not play-
walking around the map.
walking around an empty map because my parents didn't let me have internet. Watching Friends on a portable DVD player because they wouldn't let me watch TV.
And that's beautiful.
And these are the things that have made you the man you are today.
And look at me now,
Look
one
at
of
him
the
now.
weirdest men who's ever lived.
wearing pajamas with his own face on them.
Given the timber treatment and loading up on ice and just begging people to smell my milk.
And parents, if you're watching this, this is why you shouldn't send your children to Kumon.
And that's the real takeaway.
And
also let them
if
watch
you, right,
TV.
if you try, the more you try to restrict something, the crazier they're gonna become about
Well,
it.
it's why I'm weird about candy.
No, I was gonna say, I was gonna bring that
I
up.
wasn't
as well.
allowed to eat candy as a child, and every time I would get my hands on candy, I would eat so much of it that my mouth would bleed.
bruh.
Well, it's the way people with KBRWAH
Right.
are about killing bunny rabbits with a
Right.
hammer. They were
Right.
told not to, and
Because
that's
the
what they
parents
do.
were always like, "Stop that.
Stop that. You're supposed to be in Kumon. And they're like, one of the
Yeah.
prizes
One of the
was
prizes
a
was a hammer.
Dude.
And another prize
Brought it
is a
full
bunny.
circle. All right, do we want to sing the Young Old song?
Wait,
Well,
I
but
needed
Eve
to
has to
say
talk
one
about
more
school.
thing.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, no, but my other thing was that
We can talk about next week.
Next
I
week.
guess.
okay,
We
but-
can't get it
but
all
just,
out.
Just
Yeah.
one thing is that in elementary school they would like sometimes be like, "Oh, guys, like we're gonna have a pizza party," and the kids would go feral. Like they would be like beating their chest, jumping off the wall, smashing through the windows, so excited about the pizza party. And it's like it was always like not great pizza, like very average
Yeah.
pizza. And I was like, guys, why are you so crazy? And it's because their parents like wouldn't let them eat anything.
No,
Dude, a
now-
town full of almond moms, the
Yeah.
kids are
And
feral.
I was like, no
about
wonder
any
they're
kind
like-
of junk
Now,
food.
if the school is like, we're having a
Freaking
rack
out.
of lamb party, Eve would have been smashing
Right,
desks
and then
against
I
the
would
wall.
have been smashing desks
Or a
against the
macaron
wall.
party.
A macaron party?
Don't even right now. That even got me like.
She's fired up. She's feral.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
beating her
feral.
chest.
My mouth's foaming.
Okay.
Well, Eve's mouth is foaming, so
Yeah, we
it's
gotta
it's
we
time
gotta
to go.
sign off. Also, I kind of want pizza.
Now that I'm
Ooh.
yeah, because you're one of those kids.
I kind of want to kill a bunny rabbit with a hammer.
Oh, I kind of want to go to Kumon.
That's all right.
What if Yuggle
Now
goes to
it's not-
Kumon?
Yeah, it goes to
Goes
Kumon.
to
We need to
Kumon.
infiltrate Kumon and destroy it from the
Would you have
inside.
like
Dude.
PTSD if you
Huh?
went to Kumon?
Dude, I literally like yeah, I would be the same way I was when Dana brought out the pajamas at first, just that shock of just like
You would start making the Kumon.
Do you think
face.
Kumon would hire me?
no.
Oh,
Why no?
why?
What's the credentials?
Because you're not willing to look a child in the eye and break their spirit.
That's
to
so
make
true.
them make the face.
Yeah.
Make
I,
the
I don't want to
Kumon
make them make the
face.
Kumon face. Okay, let's sing the song.
And on that note,
Good
night,
young
Kumon is coming for you. You cannot resist it.
It's been such a
Kumon conquers all.
time with you. We'll see you